What if I told you your struggle with money, love, opportunities is not random at all? It's not because you're lazy. It's not because you're cursed. It's not even because you're bad with money. It's because a part of you that was meant to guide you to abundance was quietly switched off. Not by you, not by fate, by the world around you. And here's the part that should make you really pay attention. You have this gland inside you. You were born with it fully on. Every human has it. Some people call it the third eye. Some call it an inner receiver. I'm going to call it your spiritual abundance gland. Its job is simple: to decide what you allow yourself to receive, not what you deserve on paper, not what you earn by effort alone, what you actually let into your life. When you were very young, this gland was wide open. Think about a small child. They ask for what they want without shame. They expect good things to come. They don't sit there thinking, "Am I worthy of this toy? Do I deserve this happiness?" They just reach. They just receive. That's your spiritual abundance gland, fully alive. But something happened. Around age 7, sometimes earlier, this inner gland started to dim. Little by little, day by day. Not because you did anything wrong, but because you were being trained. Trained by your parents' stress. Trained by school. Trained by culture. Trained by a system that needs you to follow rules more than it needs you to feel abundant. In 2019, a group of researchers in London did something interesting. They put people in a brain scanner and asked them to make financial decisions. Some of the people were already wealthy. Some were struggling. They expected to see small differences. A bit more brain activity here, a little less there. But what they found looked like two different worlds. When wealthy people looked at opportunities, certain parts of their brain lit up. Parts linked to creativity, curiosity, possibility. Their system leaned forward, like, maybe this could work. When struggling people looked at the same kind of choices, a different pattern lit up. Areas linked to fear, danger, threat. Their system pulled back, like, this might hurt me. Same kind of decision, same type of numbers. Two completely different internal reactions. It was like they were running two different operating systems. One system says, I can hold more. I can try. I am safe to expand. The other system says, this is dangerous. Stay small. Don't risk it. Don't reach. Most people never hear about studies like this. The media barely talks about it. Because if you really understand what this means, the old story about money falls apart. We've been told the story that money is about work harder, be smarter, get lucky, know the right people. But this research hints at something deeper. It hints that your nervous system, your inner gland, your spiritual receiver, is voting long before your logical mind. If your inner system is set to no, it doesn't matter how many strategies you learn. If your inner system is set to yes, you move faster, risk more wisely, and see paths other people literally cannot see. And here's where it gets really interesting. Ancient cultures already talked about this in their own language. The Egyptians carved a strange eye into their temples. Yogis spoke about a center in the middle of the brain that, when awakened, changes how you see life. Mystics in many traditions spoke of an inner organ of perception, a spiritual sense that detects possibility and flow. They didn't have brain scanners. They didn't use words like neural patterns or nervous system, but they knew that something inside us can open or close, and that this opening or closing changes what we experience in the outer world. Over time, that knowledge faded from normal education. It moved into mystery schools, secret teachings, sacred circles. What replaced it for most people was a much simpler message. Be realistic. Don't ask for too much. Don't rock the boat. Be grateful for what you get. So here you are, an adult, trying to manifest more, trying to think positive, trying to hustle your way out of scarcity. But there's a conflict. On the surface, you're saying, I want more. Underneath, your spiritual abundance gland is whispering, it's not safe. I'm not allowed. I can't hold it. And the gland always wins. Let's be clear about something. When I say gland, I don't just mean a little pink thing a surgeon could cut out and hold in his hand. Yes, there are physical parts of the brain involved. Yes, there is a connection to the nervous system, the heart, the breath. But what we're really talking about is a network, a circuit, a living pattern that behaves like a single organ with one job: to control what you allow yourself to receive. Money, love, help, support, opportunities, even spiritual guidance. If this gland is active, life feels like a flow. You see chances. You move. You're not frozen by what if it goes wrong every time. If this gland is dormant, life feels like a fight. You work harder and harder, but the ceiling doesn't move. Good things feel too good to be true. You talk yourself out of blessings before they even get close. And here's the part that should give you hope. This gland was not removed. It was not destroyed. It is not broken. It is sleeping. It was lulled to sleep by years of fear, shame, and be realistic messaging. It was trained to shut down every time you reached. It learned to protect you by keeping you small. But what is trained can be untrained. What was programmed can be reprogrammed. What went to sleep can wake up. In this video, I'm going to show you how. Not by asking you to pretend. Not by telling you to slap fake positivity on real fear. But by working with the same place your pain lives. Your nervous system, your breath, your body, your inner energy. By the time we're done, you will understand 3 things very clearly. 1. Why your spiritual abundance gland was switched off when you were a child. 2. How it has been quietly running your adult life from the shadows. And 3. What you can start doing tonight, yes tonight, to flip that switch back on. Because the truth is this: the people you call lucky or chosen are not better than you. They are not more worthy in the eyes of God, the universe, or life. They just got different training. Their inner gland, their spiritual receiver, was allowed to stay active. Yours was not. That ends now. You are about to remember something you were born knowing. You were never meant to beg for crumbs. You were designed to receive. What if I told you that your spiritual abundance gland, the inner receiver inside you, was designed to work automatically? That you were born with a built-in system meant to guide you toward opportunities, not away from them? And that somewhere along the way it stopped doing the job it was made for? Most people don't realize this because they think abundance is something you chase with your mind. But your mind is only the spokesperson. It's not the real decision maker. The real decision maker lives deeper, in your nervous system, in your emotional body, in the subtle signals that activate long before you have a conscious thought. Your spiritual abundance gland is part biological, part emotional, and part energetic. It is the place where those 3 layers meet. And its job is incredibly simple: to open you to receiving or close you down from receiving. That's it. Everything else in your life, your financial patterns, your comfort around money, your ability to take opportunities, your confidence when life expands, comes from that single switch being either on or off. When the gland is online, life feels uncomplicated. Not perfect, but fluid. You take risks before you talk yourself out of them. You sense when something is right even before you can fully explain why. You move faster than your doubts. You feel safe exploring the unknown. You don't freeze when the next level appears. And most importantly, your body says yes long before your brain starts running its old scripts. But when the gland is dormant, everything feels heavier. You hesitate. You replay decisions in your head over and over. You feel guilt receiving anything good. Your chest tightens at the thought of growth. You need too much certainty before you act. You see danger where others see opportunity. And the worst part is that all of this feels rational, even though none of it is coming from your thinking mind. It's coming from the gland that was never meant to be shut down. Let's make this real. In your brain and nervous system, there are patterns that light up depending on how safe or unsafe you feel. When your system feels safe, your body relaxes. Your breath deepens. Your heart rate steadies. Your muscles soften. In this state, your brain opens to possibility. You literally become able to imagine different futures. You can picture yourself receiving more. You feel deserving, even if you don't use that word. But when your system feels unsafe, everything changes. Your body contracts. Your breath shortens. Your heart beats faster. Your muscles prepare for tension. And in this state, your brain does not look for possibility. It looks for threat. It deletes opportunities from your awareness. It filters out anything that would require trust, expansion, or risk. Your spiritual abundance gland controls which of these modes you live in. Most people think they live in a money problem, but they actually live in a nervous system problem. Their body decided long ago that abundance was not safe, and it has been defending that belief ever since. This gland controls 4 major functions. Think of them like 4 levers that determine whether abundance flows to you or runs away from you. The first lever is risk tolerance. Not logical risk tolerance, the actual biological capacity to sit with uncertainty without panicking. Wealthy people, empowered people, spiritually open people, they all share the same trait. They can hold uncertainty without collapsing. Their nervous system does not scream danger the moment outcomes are unclear. This gives them space to act. But if your gland is dormant, uncertainty feels like a threat. You freeze and you call it being careful, being smart, being realistic. But it's not realism. It's fear wearing a respectable mask. The second lever is self-permission. This one goes so deep most people don't even know it exists. It is the emotional feeling of, am I allowed to have more? This is not about what you tell yourself in the mirror. It's what your body says when you imagine receiving more than you're used to. When the gland is active, your body softens at the thought of more. Feels natural. Feels normal. When the gland is dormant, the body tightens. Wealth feels like trespassing. Receiving feels like stealing. Taking up space feels like a crime. And so the nervous system blocks it long before you make a conscious choice. The third lever is decisiveness. This doesn't come from confidence. It comes from internal safety. Wealthy individuals make decisions almost 5 times faster than average earners, not because they are smarter, but because their abundance gland keeps them out of fear mode. Their nervous system says, we can handle whatever happens, so they act. You can see how powerful this is. People who act move. People who hesitate get stuck in the same loops for years. The fourth lever is expectation of return. This is the deepest one. When you give something money, time, effort, trust, what do you expect to happen next? If the gland is active, your body expects increase. Your brain literally produces dopamine when you invest because it anticipates growth. If the gland is dormant, your body expects loss. Cortisol spikes. You brace for something to go wrong. You expect the world to take more than it gives. And your life ends up reflecting that expectation. These 4 levers form a single system. They operate like one organ, and they decide far more about your financial and spiritual life than your intelligence, your education, your grind, or your effort ever could. Now here's the part nobody tells you. Your spiritual abundance gland is not damaged. It's not broken. It has been sleeping. And the way it is supposed to work, its original factory setting, is to open to abundance automatically. That means your natural state is not scarcity. Your natural state is receiving. Your natural state is expansion. Scarcity is learned. Abundance is original. But when you were growing up, life taught your gland to close. Every time someone stressed about bills in front of you, every time you heard, we can't afford that, every time you were told to be realistic, every time you were punished for being bold, your system recorded that. Not as information, as physical sensation, as emotional pattern, as wiring. And now, decades later, you wonder why you hesitate when good things show up. You wonder why you shrink from opportunities. You wonder why you can't hold on to blessings. It's not you. It's the training you never asked for. But the training can be undone, because the gland is still inside you, waiting, listening, ready to wake up. In the next part, you're going to learn exactly who turned it off, how they did it, and why understanding that is the key to turning it back on. If your spiritual abundance gland was designed to stay open, then the real question is simple. Who closed it? Who dimmed it? Who trained it to shut down every time you reached for more? Because it didn't happen by accident. It didn't happen in one dramatic moment. It happened slowly, quietly, through 1,000 small messages you never even realized were shaping you. You were not born afraid to receive. You were not born afraid to ask. You were not born afraid of money, or opportunity, or being seen. All of that came later. It came from the people, systems, and environments around you long before you were old enough to understand what was being done. When you were a child, your gland was wide open. That's why little kids dream big without hesitation. They say things like, "I'm going to be an astronaut," or "I'm going to have a big house," without thinking twice. They don't ask if they're worthy. They don't wonder if it's realistic. They haven't been taught smallness yet. And then, slowly, the world gives them lessons. Lessons that feel harmless on the surface but are actually instructions for shutting down the inner receiver. Maybe the first lesson came from your parents. Not because they were bad people, not because they wanted to limit you, but because they were living inside their own fear. If you asked for something and they said, "Money doesn't grow on trees," your gland heard, "It's not safe to want." If they said, "Don't expect too much," your gland heard, "Receiving leads to disappointment." If they argued about bills, the tightness in their voice became tightness in your body. That tightness became your baseline. You didn't know you were being programmed. You just absorbed it like a sponge absorbs water. And then school added another layer. This is the part nobody talks about because everyone assumes school is neutral. It's not. It's a training ground. It teaches you how to think, how to move, how to behave, and this is the important part, how much permission you're allowed to give yourself. Think about the structure. You sit in rows. You raise your hand to speak. You wait to be told when you can eat, when you can play, when you can rest. You don't decide your pace. You don't decide your direction. You don't decide your worth. Someone else gives you a grade for that. And every single one of those routines trains the same message into your nervous system. Don't act until someone approves you. You learn to wait. You learn to hold back. You learn to depend on authority for permission. And to your spiritual abundance gland, this was deadly. Because the gland can only open when you feel safe to choose for yourself. School taught you the opposite. It taught you that choosing for yourself was wrong unless someone first said it was okay. If you showed initiative, you were told to slow down. If you asked too many questions, you were told you were being disruptive. If you followed your curiosity instead of the instructions, you were disciplined. That doesn't just shape your mind. It shapes your identity. You become the kind of person who waits, the kind of person who hesitates, the kind of person who doesn't trust their own impulses. Now imagine what that does to the abundance gland. Imagine a child born with an inner yes, slowly turned into an adult who whispers, "Maybe it's not for me." Imagine a system designed to produce compliant workers, not creative receivers. Imagine spending 12,000 hours being conditioned to fit into a box so someone else's world can run smoothly. That is how the gland goes dark. And then there's culture, the bigger system, the one you didn't even realize was shaping you. Movies, TV, religious messages, family stories, they all reinforce the same theme. Be humble, stay small, don't ask for too much, don't be greedy, don't shine too brightly or people will judge you. But here's the truth no one wants to admit. Most of these warnings weren't about morality. They were about control. A population that asks for little is easier to manage. A person who doubts themselves is easier to direct. A nervous system stuck in fear is predictable. A child who grows into an adult afraid of risk will never challenge the structure around them. So the system got what it wanted. It created workers, followers, people who live inside their heads but never fully inside their power. And the spiritual abundance gland fell asleep under all that weight. And then there's the environment experiments, like the famous Stanford prison study, where people were placed in roles, and within a day their personalities changed. Guards became harsh. Prisoners became submissive, not because of who they were, but because of the environment they were put into. The structure changed their identity. Think about your environment for a moment. Think about the home you grew up in, the school you sat in, the community you lived in. You were placed in a structure that rewarded obedience and punished initiative. That environment reshaped your identity, your nervous system, your sense of what's possible for you, long before you ever made your first financial decision. By the time you became an adult, you weren't hesitant because you lacked intelligence or drive. You were hesitant because your abundance gland had been trained to stay quiet, to keep you safe, to keep you small, to protect you from disappointment by lowering your expectations before life could. This is why so many adults feel like they're living in a cage they can't see. They're not stuck because opportunity doesn't exist. They're stuck because their internal permission system is offline. Their spiritual abundance gland is still following rules written decades ago by people who were afraid themselves. And yet, there's a twist in this story. Because while you were being trained for compliance, another group of people was being trained for the opposite. Children born into wealthy households, powerful families, or creative communities were coached in risk-taking, self-trust, imagination, leadership. They were told their ideas mattered. They were encouraged to explore. They were taught to expect return, not loss. They were rewarded for initiative, not punished for it. Different messages, different nervous systems, different futures. This is why two people can start with similar talents but live completely different lives. One learned to shrink. The other learned to reach. One learned that it's dangerous to want. The other learned that wanting is the first step to receiving. One learned to wait for approval. The other learned that inner permission is enough. So here you are now, an adult with a childhood training you didn't ask for, living inside patterns you didn't choose. And yet, the moment you become aware of this, something incredible happens. Awareness cracks the cage. Awareness wakes the gland. Awareness says, hold on. Nothing is wrong with me. Something was done to me, and what was done can be undone. Your spiritual abundance gland is not dead. It is dormant, and everything that shut it down was learned, which means everything that shut it down can be unlearned. The world programmed you for smallness. Now it's time to reprogram yourself for expansion. If you've ever wondered why your life seems to repeat the same financial patterns over and over, even when you try to change them, the reason is simpler than you think. It's not fate. It's not bad luck. It's not that you weren't born under the right star. It's a loop operating inside you every single day, shaping your decisions, filtering your perception, and feeding you back outcomes that match your inner state. This loop begins long before you take action. It begins long before you make a decision. It begins before a single thought even forms in your head. It begins in your emotional state, your nervous system's moment-to-moment sense of safety or threat. And that emotional state plays the role of the invisible puppeteer pulling every string in your financial and spiritual life. Here's how it works. Imagine you wake up one morning and for some reason, maybe stress from yesterday, maybe a message you read, maybe nothing obvious at all, your body feels tight. Not dramatically, just slightly constricted. A little pressure in your chest, a little shallowness in your breath. That small shift matters because your emotional state is your foundation. When your state tightens, your spiritual abundance gland tightens with it. Your inner receiver closes a few degrees, the way a flower closes just before it senses a storm. When your emotional state contracts, you enter the first stage of the loop. Expectation. Not conscious expectation, the kind you talk about or write in a journal. I'm talking about your nervous system's expectation, the inner prediction your body makes about how the world will treat you today. If your state is contracted, your nervous system expects less. It expects pressure. It expects struggle. It expects setbacks. And those expectations shape what you notice, what you ignore, and what you believe is possible. This creates what I call your expectation field. Think of it like a lens through which you see the world. If the lens is narrow, you only notice danger, inconvenience, problems. You replay worst-case scenarios. You assume things will go wrong. Opportunity can be right in front of you, but your inner lens deletes it, the same way a computer deletes files it thinks you don't need. If the lens is wide, you see chances everywhere. Something small goes right and you feel it as a sign that more good things are coming. Your intuition stays open. Your breath stays relaxed. Your inner world stays spacious enough to notice doors that fear would have made invisible. This is why some people seem lucky. They're not lucky. Their lens is wider. Their inner state is more open. Their abundance gland is awake, scanning for possibility instead of threat. Now, after expectation comes the second stage of the loop, behavior. This is where your decisions are made. And here's the part that almost nobody understands. You don't make decisions based on logic. You make decisions based on what feels safe. And what feels safe is determined by your expectation field, not your reasoning. If your expectation field is narrow, you hesitate. You pause. You wait for more signs. You convince yourself you need more time, more information, more clarity. You talk yourself out of moving forward. And when you finally act, it's often too late. The window has closed, the moment has passed, the energy has shifted, and you walk away saying, "It just wasn't meant to be," when in reality, your nervous system shut the door before the world ever could. If your expectation field is wide, your behavior is completely different. You act faster. You explore more. You try things even if you're not completely certain. Your body doesn't collapse into fear the moment something feels unfamiliar. You reach out. You take steps. You make moves. And the world responds to moves, not intentions. This leads to the third stage of the loop: outcome. The results you get. The things you experience. The money you make or don't make. The opportunities that come or don't come. The progress you feel or the stagnation you can't seem to escape. Here's the painful truth. Most people think outcomes shape their expectations. But the opposite is true. Your expectations shape your outcomes. Because your expectation field shapes your decisions, and your decisions shape your results. This is why two people can look at the same opportunity and have completely different experiences. One sees a chance. The other sees a risk. One leans in. The other pulls back. One gets the reward. The other gets confirmation that things never work out for me. And the loop repeats. Researchers at Yale actually proved this. They took a group of people and primed half of them with feelings of abundance, just feelings, nothing external. Simple visualizations. A few physical exercises to relax their bodies. The other half they primed with feelings of scarcity, stress, tension, time pressure. Then they showed both groups the exact same business opportunity. Same numbers, same risks, same information. The abundance-primed group saw opportunity about 64% of the time. The scarcity-primed group saw opportunity only 23% of the time. Same data, completely different perception. Not because of intelligence, not because of skill, because of emotional state. Your nervous system decides what you see. Your spiritual abundance gland decides whether the world looks like a place that gives or a place that takes. And here's where the loop becomes self-fulfilling. The outcome you get, whether good or bad, feeds back into your emotional state. If the outcome matches your fear, your nervous system says, "See? I told you." And the loop continues. If the outcome matches your hope, your nervous system expands again, saying, "Maybe the world is safe for me." The loop strengthens itself every day, creates your financial ceiling, creates your sense of identity, creates your relationship with abundance. And until you interrupt it, it will continue running the same pattern, year after year, no matter how much you read, learn, journal, or try. This loop is why people feel stuck, why they feel like life repeats itself, why they say things like, "I can never catch a break," "Nothing ever changes," or "That kind of success just isn't for people like me." It's not because they're doomed. It's because their loop is locked. Their spiritual abundance gland is asleep, and the loop is running on old programming. Programming installed when they were young, scared, small, and powerless. But here's the good news. The loop is not permanent. It is not destiny. It is not a curse. It is a habit. A deeply trained habit between your body, your expectations, your decisions, and your results. And habits can be rewritten. When you change your emotional state, you change your expectation field. When your expectation field changes, your decisions change. And when your decisions change, your results shift so dramatically it can feel like the world suddenly opened its doors to you. The truth is the world was always open. You just couldn't see it. In the next chapter, you're going to find out how to recognize whether your spiritual abundance gland is awake or asleep. And when you understand that, everything, your past, your patterns, your struggles, will make sense in a way they never have before. If you're still wondering whether your spiritual abundance gland is awake or asleep, the truth is you don't need a brain scan, you don't need a test, and you don't need anyone to diagnose you. Your life is already showing you the signs. Your patterns are showing you. Your reactions are showing you. Your nervous system has been speaking this whole time through the way you move, the way you decide, the way you shrink, the way you tense up. You've just never been taught how to listen to it. So let's make this simple. Let's bring this out of the shadows. Because once you see the signs clearly, you won't be able to unsee them. And that's a good thing. Awareness is the start of awakening. Awareness is how the gland begins to open after years, maybe decades, of sleeping. Here's the first sign. You hesitate when opportunity appears. Not because you're lazy, not because you're unmotivated. You hesitate because your body hits the brakes before your mind even has a chance to think. Something exciting comes your way, an offer, an idea, a chance to grow, and instead of leaning forward, you freeze. You start analyzing. You ask, what if it goes wrong? What if I'm not ready? What if I fail? You convince yourself you're being careful. But in reality, your abundance gland is signaling danger. It is shutting down the receiving channel. And by the time you talk yourself into acting, the moment has passed. This is not a mindset problem. This is a nervous system pattern. The second sign is guilt around money. Not logical guilt, but body guilt. The tightening in your chest when you spend on yourself. The voice that says, who do you think you are? When you consider upgrading your life. The discomfort you feel when someone gives you a gift, compliments you, pays you, or offers you more than you expected. You don't relax into receiving, you tense up. You feel like you're taking something you shouldn't. Like receiving is stealing. That guilt is not moral. It's not spiritual. It's programming. Somewhere long ago, your gland was taught that wanting more makes you selfish, and having more makes you unsafe. The third sign is that you have an invisible ceiling on what you believe is possible for you. Not what you say publicly. Not the goals you write on a vision board. I'm talking about the quiet internal number your nervous system has accepted as your level. For some people, it's $40,000. For some, it's 6 figures. For some, it's a certain type of home or lifestyle. Whatever that number or level is, you never go far beyond it. You might have bursts of progress, but something always pulls you back down. A setback, a crisis, a self-sabotage moment. And you tell yourself, see, I knew this was too good to be true. But it wasn't truth. It was the ceiling. A ceiling installed by an organ that doesn't believe you can hold more. The fourth sign is overthinking small decisions. Spending 20 minutes debating whether to buy something cheap. Rewriting a message 10 times before sending it. Going back and forth about things that don't really matter. Wealthy individuals make small decisions in seconds because their nervous system isn't treating every choice like a potential threat. But when your gland is dormant, even small actions feel dangerous. You're not being careful. You're being controlled by an inner alarm system that was built to keep you safe as a child but now keeps you stuck as an adult. The fifth sign is physical tension around money. This one is so subtle most people never connect it to abundance. But your body tells the truth before your mind does. Think about money right now, your bills, your income, your bank account. Notice what happens in your body. Does your jaw tighten? Does your stomach clench? Does your breath get shallow? Does your posture collapse? That reaction is not random. That is your spiritual abundance gland signaling danger. It has paired money with threat, and your body responds as if you just heard a noise in the dark. How can abundance enter a body that believes it is under attack? The sixth sign is rehearsing rejection before it even happens. You play conversations in your head where someone tells you no. You imagine failure before success. You talk yourself out of opportunities by predicting the worst. You decide for other people in your mind, they won't pay me that, they won't choose me, that won't work out. And because your nervous system is trying to protect you, it convinces you that avoiding the attempt is safer than risking the disappointment. But in doing that, it blocks the very things you are trying to attract. The seventh sign is the feeling that life happens to you instead of through you. You feel like money is an external force that arrives when it wants and leaves when it wants. You feel like you're at the mercy of circumstances. You feel like abundance is something outside yourself, something you have to chase, squeeze, or beg for. When your spiritual abundance gland is awake, you feel like a co-creator. When it is asleep, you feel like a passenger on a train you didn't choose. If you recognize 3 or more of these signs, your gland is not just quiet, it's deeply dormant. And none of these signs mean you're weak. They don't mean you're broken. They don't mean you're not meant for wealth or love or opportunity. They mean your inner system has been in survival mode for too long. They mean your nervous system has been protecting you from abundance because it learned long ago that abundance was unsafe. You learned these patterns from the environments you grew up in. You learned them from the people you loved. You learned them from the experiences that shaped you. But you never learned how to undo them. You never learned that abundance is not a thought. It's a state. A physical, emotional, energetic state. A state that your body has to feel before your life can reflect it. And here's the truth that will change everything. Your spiritual abundance gland is not stuck in this state forever. It is not permanently closed. It is not damaged beyond repair. It is simply trained. And what is trained can be retrained. What is learned can be unlearned. What is asleep can wake up. The moment you recognize the signs, the awakening begins. Awareness loosens the cage. Awareness warms the frozen parts of you. Awareness tells the gland, you can open now. And once that opening starts, even a little, your entire relationship with money and opportunity begins to shift. You stop freezing at good news. You stop rejecting blessings. You stop talking yourself out of expansion. You start seeing chances where you once saw danger. You start moving in ways that surprise even you. In the next chapter, we're going to go even deeper, because recognizing the signs is only the beginning. The real power comes when you learn the practices, the rituals, the breathing, the rewiring steps that actually flip the switch inside you. If your spiritual abundance gland has been dormant for years, maybe decades, the first thing you need to understand is this. You cannot think your way into abundance. You cannot affirm your way into abundance. You cannot force your mind to believe something your body has not accepted. Your nervous system must feel safe before it will allow the door to open. And the fastest way to shift your nervous system is through your breath. Not positive thinking, not motivation, breath. Your breath is the bridge between your mind and your body. It is the remote control for your emotional state. It is the switch that turns off the alarm system inside you and turns on the receiving system. Your spiritual abundance gland cannot open in fear, cannot open in survival mode, cannot open when your body believes danger is near. That's why so many people struggle to manifest anything. They are trying to receive while their bodies are bracing for impact. But there is a simple, ancient, almost shockingly powerful practice that changes everything. A practice so easy you can do it in a chair, in your bed, in your car, in line at the store, anywhere. A practice that wealthy families in Japan used for over 400 years before any Western scientist ever knew why it worked. A practice that modern neuroscience eventually confirmed because it activates one of the most important nerves in your entire body, the vagus nerve. This nerve controls your parasympathetic system, the part of you responsible for calm, safety, openness, receiving. When it switches on, your heart rate slows, your muscles soften, your breath deepens, your body says, I'm okay. And when your body says, I'm okay, your spiritual abundance gland begins to open. Your inner receiver starts waking up. You shift from protection to possibility. You shift from scarcity to receiving. Here's the truth. You cannot receive in fight or flight. It's biologically impossible. When your nervous system thinks you're in danger, even small danger, every form of expansion feels like a threat. Money feels like a threat. Opportunities feel like a threat. Asking feels like a threat. Investing feels like a threat. Growth feels like a threat. So your body shuts it down. That's why this breathing ritual matters. It is not symbolic. It is not decorative. It is not relaxation. It is nervous system reprogramming. This is how it works. Sit comfortably. Feel the weight of your body. Don't try to fix your posture. Don't try to look spiritual or composed. Just sit the way you sit. Then place one hand on your chest and one hand on your belly. This is important. When your hands touch your body, your mind connects to your body. You are signaling that something new is about to happen. Now inhale gently through your nose for 6 seconds. Not fast, not forced. Let your belly expand first, like you're filling a balloon. Then let your chest rise. Most people breathe into their chest only, and that keeps them in a low-level stress state all day long. Belly expansion tells your body, we are safe. You might feel strange doing it at first. That's okay. You're waking up parts of your nervous system that have been asleep for years. Hold that breath for 2 seconds. Just 2. Enough to let your body register the fullness. Then exhale slowly through your mouth for 8 seconds. The exhale must be longer than the inhale. This is the key. A longer exhale flips your body into parasympathetic mode. This is where the receiving state lives. As you exhale, imagine the old fear leaving your body. Imagine the tightness melting. Imagine the smallness loosening its grip on your ribs, your heart, your throat. As you breathe out, silently say in your mind, I receive. Not I want. Not I hope. Not please let it happen. Just I receive. These 2 words signal your spiritual abundance gland that the door can open now, that you are safe enough to allow more, that it's okay for life to give to you again. Do this breath for 10 rounds. Takes about 5 minutes. 5 minutes to interrupt decades of scarcity programming. 5 minutes to tell your body a new story. 5 minutes to shift the emotional state that drives your expectation, your decision-making, your entire loop. And here's the part most people don't expect. The first time you do this, something small will shift. Not necessarily something dramatic. Maybe your jaw unclenches. Maybe your shoulders drop without you trying. Maybe your heartbeat slows. Maybe your mind gets quieter. Maybe you feel a warmth in your chest or a lightness in your face. That is your gland opening its eyes for the first time in a long time. Do this practice every morning. Before you check your phone. Before you look at your bank account. Before you start the day. When you do it first thing, you reset your emotional baseline before the world gets a chance to shape it for you. You start the day in receiving mode instead of survival mode. Then do it again anytime you're about to interact with money. Before paying a bill. Before making a purchase. Before sending an invoice. Before asking for anything. Why? Because most people collapse into fear the moment money enters the conversation. Their breath shortens. Their body tightens. Their gland shuts down. They return to the old loop instantly. The receiving breath breaks that loop. It teaches your nervous system that money is not danger. Money is not threat. Money is neutral until your body gives it meaning. And you're about to give it a new meaning. Over time, and it doesn't take long, your nervous system begins to rewrite its associations. Money begins to equal calm. Opportunity begins to equal curiosity. Risk begins to equal growth. Receiving begins to equal safety. And once your body believes receiving is safe, your life begins to change in ways that feel almost unfair. The world hasn't changed. Your nervous system hasn't expanded. Your possibilities haven't multiplied. Your gland hasn't awakened. And once it's awake, it sees things you couldn't see before. It notices chances you used to miss. It says yes where you used to freeze. It relaxes where you used to panic. This ritual is not for dreaming. It's for rewiring. It's how you teach your system to stop bracing and start opening. It's how you prepare your inner container for more before the more arrives. Do it consistently and watch what happens. Your decisions will shift. Your reactions will soften. Your ceiling will rise. Your spiritual abundance gland will stop whispering and start leading. And the loop that once kept you stuck will begin to break apart from the inside. If the receiving breath is how you calm the alarm system inside you, this chapter is about something even deeper. Something that sits under every decision you make, every opportunity you take, every dollar you allow yourself to receive. It's your identity, not the identity you show the world, but the quiet inner identity that whispers who you believe you are allowed to be. Most people don't understand this part. They try to change their income without changing the inner identity that's controlling their income. They try to change their habits while their identity still believes, I'm someone who struggles. I'm someone who just gets by. I'm someone who shouldn't ask for too much. I'm someone who always ends up back where I started. Your spiritual abundance gland listens to identity far more than it listens to affirmations or motivation. Your identity is the script your nervous system uses to decide what you're allowed to receive. And here's the hard truth. Most of the identities people carry were formed when they were children. They were built from moments of embarrassment, rejection, shame, fear, lack, disappointment. Moments that taught you what wasn't safe, what wasn't for you, what wasn't realistic. And those identities wrapped themselves around your abundance gland like vines around a sleeping door. This is why the wealthy behave differently. It's not because they're better. It's because their identity, the internal script they inherited, says, I'm allowed to receive, I'm allowed to ask, I'm allowed to hold more, I'm allowed to take up space, I'm allowed to be supported. Their nervous system is wired for permission. Yours was wired for restriction. That wiring must be rewritten. This starts with a simple truth. Your nervous system believes the words you say with conviction, especially when your body is involved. Your mind may argue, but your body listens. That's why we begin with permission statements, not as cute affirmations, not as pretty words, but as nervous system commands. Look at yourself in the mirror. Hold eye contact, not a quick glance. Actually look and say out loud, I give myself permission to receive. Your mind might laugh. Your body won't. Your body will feel something, maybe a tightness, maybe resistance, maybe even sadness. That's the old identity clinging to its place. Say it again. I am allowed to have more than enough. Breathe as you say it. Let your shoulders relax. Let your jaw loosen. You're not trying to convince your mind. You're speaking directly to your abundance gland. Again, money flows to me because I am open to it. Say it slowly. Let the meaning land. Feel the difference between I want and I allow. Wanting comes from desperation. Allowing comes from identity. Then place your hand on your chest, over your heart, and say, my body is safe to hold wealth. That sentence alone begins the rewiring. Wealth has never been the problem. Safety has. Your body has been rejecting wealth for years because it associated wealth with risk, judgment, loss, pressure, or guilt. But the moment your body feels safe, your identity begins to shift. The second part of identity recoding is micro-risk. Not big risks, not reckless decisions. Small daily acts that teach your nervous system a new truth. I can stretch and I don't die. Your spiritual abundance gland grows from exposure, not theory. Every day, take one small risk. 1. Send a message you've been avoiding. Ask a question you're scared to ask. Charge slightly more. Apply for something you feel unqualified for. Say no where you used to say yes automatically. Ask for help. Ask for clarity. Ask for what you actually want. Every time you take one of these micro risks, your nervous system updates its identity. The gland receives a new signal. We can handle expansion. And with enough repetitions, that becomes your default. Your identity shifts from, I stay small to stay safe, to, I can grow and nothing bad happens. You won't feel ready. That's the point. Readiness is not the goal, rewiring is. You are teaching your abundance gland the truth. Receiving is not dangerous anymore. The third part of identity recoding is something most people never do because it feels uncomfortable at first. Raising your internal worth through action. Not imagination, action. Every time you raise your price, even a little, your gland expands. Every time you choose rest instead of guilt, your gland expands. Every time you speak up instead of shrinking, your gland expands. Every time you allow someone to support you, your gland expands. Every time you decide quickly instead of spiraling in hesitation, your gland expands. The gland grows through experiences. Not thoughts. Not ideas. Experiences. But there is one more step, and this one is powerful. You must detach your identity from your income. Because as long as your worth is tied to your wealth, you will never feel safe receiving more. You will treat every dollar like a test of your value. You will panic at every fluctuation. You will freeze when life expands because the stakes feel too high. Wealthy individuals don't do this. Their identity is steady no matter the numbers. That's what allows them to take bold steps without collapsing. They don't think, if this fails, I am a failure. They think, if this fails, I learned something. Their identity remains intact. So here is the practice. Every night before you sleep, whisper these words. My income is not my identity. I am worthy whether I have money or not. I release the belief that my bank account measures my value. Say it slow. Say it soft. Let it sink in. You're telling your nervous system that the fear it's been carrying around money is no longer needed. You're separating your self-worth from your financial situation, and when you do that, the pressure dissolves. When the pressure dissolves, the gland opens. And when the gland opens, receiving becomes natural again. And then there is the overflow ritual. This one is incredibly simple but almost magical in how it changes your identity. Take an envelope, physical, not digital. Write the word overflow on it. Every time money enters your life, any amount, take 5 to 10% and place it in that envelope. Don't calculate. Don't judge. Don't plan. Just put it in. What you're doing here is giving your nervous system physical evidence that you have more than enough. You are teaching your body that you are no longer in survival mode. You are creating a new identity. Someone who has overflow. Someone who doesn't operate from lack. Someone who can hold more. When you touch the envelope, breathe deeply and say, I am the kind of person who has more than enough. I am living in overflow. Identity isn't changed by thinking. Identity is changed by repetition, sensation, emotion, and small wins that your nervous system can feel. You are not trying to become someone new. You are returning to the version of you that existed before fear took over. The version that believed life was generous. The version with the abundance gland fully open. There comes a moment in every person's life where the old story stops working. Where every excuse, every hesitation, every fear, every pattern becomes too heavy to carry. A moment where you realize you're not fighting the world, you're fighting your own wiring. And at that moment, you have a choice. You can keep living inside the same loop, the same emotional script, the same nervous system settings. Or you can begin the process of rewriting everything from the inside out. This chapter is that moment. Because up until now, you've learned what the spiritual abundance gland is. You've learned how it was shut down. You've learned the loop it created. You've learned the signs of its dormancy. You've learned the rituals that begin to crack it open. But now we step into something more powerful. Activation. Not theory. Not ideas. Activation. A full 30-day initiation designed to wake up the part of you that has been asleep for most of your life. And I'm going to tell you something that might surprise you. 30 days is enough. Not to finish the journey, but to flip the switch. To change your baseline. To wake the gland. To rewire the emotional patterns that have controlled your decisions for years. Because your nervous system is not slow. It is not rigid. It is adaptable. It learns fast. It just needs consistency. Think about how long you've been living in survival mode. 10 years? 20? Maybe 40? And yet, even after decades of scarcity training, your body can begin to shift in a few weeks, if you teach it the right way. If you speak to the part of you that has been running the show all along. So here is your 30-day initiation. And before I give it to you, listen carefully. Do not let your mind make this complicated. Do not turn this into a perfection test. Do not ask, what if I miss a day? Or what if I don't feel anything yet? Those are the old patterns trying to stay alive. This is not about perfection. This is about repetition. Repetition rewires. Repetition awakens. Repetition creates a new identity. Here's how the next 30 days will look. Every morning, before the world gets a piece of you, before your phone steals your attention, before any stress tries to enter your nervous system, you'll do the receiving breath. 5 minutes, 10 breaths, that's it. And while you breathe, you'll tell your body the same thing again and again. I am safe. I receive. Because the first thing you are doing each morning is not checking email or worrying about the day. It is teaching your gland that you are entering the day in an open state, not a threatened one. Then, right after the breath, you will look at yourself in the mirror. Not a quick glance. Not a distracted moment. Actually look and say your permission phrases out loud. Speak slowly. Speak clearly. Speak from your chest, not your throat. I give myself permission to receive. I am allowed to have more than enough. My body is safe to hold wealth. This is how you begin each day. You start in receiving mode. You start rewiring before any old pattern can pull you back. During the day, you'll take one micro risk. 1. Not 5. Not 10. 1. something your old identity would avoid, something your old nervous system would label too much. Could be asking for a better price, could be sending a message you've been avoiding, could be raising your rate by a small percentage, could be applying for something that feels out of reach, could be telling someone no when your habit is always yes. Your brain will try to negotiate. It will tell you to skip it. That's how you know it's working. That tension is the old identity dying. And then there's the overflow ritual. Every time money enters your life, no matter how small the amount, you put 5 to 10% into your overflow envelope. Not to save, not to use, not to justify, just to show your nervous system one message: I have more than enough. You are building physical evidence of abundance. Your body will feel it. Your identity will shift. You will begin to expect overflow instead of fearing emptiness. Each night, just before falling asleep, you'll release the day. You'll sit for 1 minute, close your eyes, and say softly, my income is not my identity. I am worthy whether I have money or not. I release the belief that I must prove my value. This is how you close each day. You remind your gland that receiving is safe because your worth is no longer on trial. This is the part that loosens the deepest roots of scarcity. For 30 days, you repeat this cycle. Morning breath, morning permission, 1 micro risk, overflow ritual, evening identity release. 5 pieces. Small, simple, powerful. You're not trying to force abundance. You're training your body to feel worthy of it again. And once your body believes it, your decisions will follow. Your actions will follow. Your opportunities will follow. Your reality will follow. And here's the part most people never see coming. Somewhere around day 7 or day 10, you'll notice something subtle. Maybe your shoulders sit lower. Maybe your chest feels lighter. Maybe a decision that used to scare you now feels neutral. Maybe you don't spiral when you open your bank account. Maybe you sense possibilities you never noticed before. No fireworks. No dramatic moment. Just a quiet shift. That's your abundance gland waking up. By day 14, you'll catch yourself thinking differently. You'll start expecting good news. You'll stop bracing for impact. You'll move quicker. You'll hesitate less. You'll act before you talk yourself out of something. Your expectation field begins to widen. The world starts to look less dangerous. Opportunities start appearing in places they never appeared before. Not because they were missing, but because you were missing them. By day 20, you'll feel something even bigger. Confidence. Not the loud, external kind, but the quiet, steady kind that lives in your bones. The kind that says, I can handle more. You won't flinch at small risks. You won't shrink from big decisions. Your identity will have shifted. You won't feel like someone pretending to grow. You'll feel like someone who grows naturally. And by day 30, you won't be the same person. You'll still be you, but a version of you that your younger self would barely recognize. A version of you that receives. A version of you that expects return. A version of you that no longer apologizes for wanting more. A version of you with the gland awake, alive, and guiding you. Will everything change instantly? No, but the direction will change. And once the direction changes, the destination changes. You won't be living inside the old loop anymore. You'll be creating the new one, the abundance loop, the loop that expands you, the loop that supports you, the loop that elevates you, the loop you were born to live inside before the world shut you down. The next 30 days will determine the next 30 years. And the beautiful part is you're in control now. You're choosing, you're activating, you're opening, and everything that opens receives. There is something I want you to understand before this video ends. Something that might be the most important truth you've heard in years. You are not starting from zero. You are not broken. You are not behind. You are not late. You are not missing something everyone else somehow figured out. You are waking up. That's all. You are remembering something your soul has always known but your nervous system forgot. You are remembering that you were built for expansion, built for receiving, built for abundance, built for more. Your spiritual abundance gland is not a fantasy. It's not a metaphor. It's a real internal system that has been shaping your entire life in the background like a silent operating system. When it was shut down, you didn't know why you hesitated. You didn't know why you felt guilty. You didn't know why every step forward felt heavy. You didn't know why opportunities slipped through your fingers. You didn't know why money felt like a test instead of a tool. You blamed yourself. You judged yourself. You thought something was wrong with you. But the truth is simpler, softer, kinder. You were trained out of receiving. That's all. And if you can be trained out of receiving, you can be trained back into it. If something can be programmed, it can be reprogrammed. If it can go dormant, it can wake up. Everything you've learned in this video, every breath, every ritual, every micro-risk, every permission statement, is not about becoming successful. It's about becoming yourself again. The version of you that existed before fear, before scarcity, before shame, before someone told you not to want too much, before someone taught you to shrink so others could feel comfortable, before you learned that desire was dangerous. That version of you is still in there. It has been waiting patiently inside your chest, behind your ribs, under your skin, waiting for the moment you finally say, "I'm ready," waiting for the moment you choose yourself, waiting for the moment you stop surviving and start receiving. And maybe for the first time in years, maybe for the first time ever, you're beginning to feel that version of you waking up. Not loudly, not dramatically, but quietly, softly, like a small light turning on in a dark room. A light that says, "I'm still here." A light that says, "We can grow again." A light that says, "Your life is not done expanding." You didn't find this video by accident. People don't end up here unless something in them is already shifting. Something in them is already rising. Something in them has reached the point where the old patterns can't hold them anymore. You're here because you are outgrowing who you've been. You're here because the dormant part of you is waking up and asking for instruction. This next part matters more than anything else I've said. Your life will not change because you watched this video. Your life will change because you act after watching it. Because you breathe differently. Because you speak to yourself differently. Because you take small risks daily. Because you teach your nervous system a new relationship with receiving. Because you show your inner world that you are no longer available for scarcity. You have 30 days. 30 days to rewire what years of fear built. 30 days to shift your baseline. 30 days to show your spiritual abundance gland that its job is no longer to protect you from disappointment. It's to guide you into expansion. 30 days. That's it. If you begin today, if you breathe today, if you speak permission today, if you take one micro risk today, something in the universe responds. Doors open. People appear. Ideas arrive. Not because of magic, but because your internal filter finally lets them in. And I want to tell you something that might bring tears to your eyes. You were never unworthy. You were never undeserving. You were never meant to struggle this long. You were never meant to feel guilty for wanting more. You were never meant to carry the beliefs that weren't yours. Somewhere along the way, someone passed their fear into your system. Someone handed you a story that didn't belong to you. Someone taught you how to be small when you were built to be expansive. But that ends now. Not tomorrow. Not someday. Now. Your spiritual abundance gland doesn't need permission from your past. It needs permission from you. It needs you to say, "I am allowed." It needs you to say, "I receive." It needs you to say, "I am safe to grow." And when you say those words with your breath behind them and your body softening around them, the gland begins to open. And when it opens, your life begins to open with it. One day, maybe sooner than you expect, you'll look back at this exact moment and realize this was your turning point. Not the day you got the big opportunity, not the day the money arrived, not the day you felt confident for the first time. No. The turning point was the day you learned how to open again. The day you remembered who you are. The day you chose to wake up a part of yourself that the world tried to put to sleep. So here's what I want you to do. If something in this video spoke to you, if it cracked something open, if it stirred something in your chest, if it made you realize you're ready, then I want you to declare it right now. Not for me, for your nervous system, for your abundance gland, for the future that is waiting for you. Comment one word, activate. That's it. One word. Activate. When you write it, your brain registers it as a decision, not a thought. When you declare it publicly, your identity begins to shift. You're not wishing. You're choosing. You're not hoping. You're activating. This is your moment. This is your start. This is the day your life begins expanding again. And when you're ready, the next chapter of your life is ready for you. Just say the word. Activate.